You buy that perfect group of tiny fish, looking for the best and worst schooling fish at PetSmart and Petco. You want that synchronized, National Geographic look right in your living room. But 3 days later, the school is completely broken. 2 are missing. 1 is hiding behind the filter, and the rest are slowly losing their color. Welcome back to Fish Tank Mastery. Today, we aren't talking about which fish is the prettiest. We are talking about survival. And let me be very clear right up front. We have 0 sponsors. We don't sell you products, and we don't care which brand of filter you use. We just give you the objective biological truth. If you have watched our previous videos, you already know that big chain pet stores rely on massive, centralized filtration systems. You already know the invisible safety net exists. Today, we are looking at exactly what happens to the biology of a schooling fish the second that net disappears. If you go on any aquarium forum right now, like Reddit, you will see the exact same post published every single day. Someone writes, "My water parameters are perfect. Why are my schooling fish dying?" The acclimation shock. Here is the part most people miss. You do everything right. You bring the plastic bag home, you float it in the tank for 20 minutes to match the temperature, and you carefully drip acclimate them for an hour. You release them into the tank, and for the first 48 hours, they school tightly together and look completely fine. But that tight schooling behavior is usually just a fear response. And that careful acclimation process? It only matches the water chemistry. It completely ignores the biological shock. The safety net is gone, and certain schooling fish simply cannot survive the landing. Let's start with the 4 worst translators. The ones that crash the hardest when they hit your tank. Number 4 is the GloFish Tetra, or the genetically modified black skirt Tetra. These are the absolute biggest impulse buys in the hobby. People grab them because the neon colors look incredible under blue LED lights. But those artificial colors come with a hidden biological tax: genetic exhaustion. These fish are mass-produced strictly for their glowing pigment, not for their immune response. In the store's ultraviolet blasted, highly sterile water, they look perfectly fine. But your home tank relies on natural, living bacteria to function. When these tetras hit your unsterilized water, their artificial immunity collapses. They don't adapt. They just slowly waste away, refusing to eat, while you sit there wondering what you did wrong. If you have ever bought a GloFish thinking it would be a fun, easy starter fish, only to watch it fade away in a week, hit the subscribe button. We save you from those exact retail traps. If the GloFish fails at the microbial level, number 3 fails at the physical level, the giant Danio. We aren't talking about water parameters here. We are talking about sensory shock. Giant Danios are open water sprinters. In a massive pet store vat, they have room to move. When you drop them into a standard 20 or 30 gallon home tank, they completely lose their spatial awareness. The first night your tank lights turn off, they panic. They sprint blindly in the dark, physically crashing into the glass, damaging their snouts, or jumping out of the smallest gaps in your lid. The physical trauma of a confined space destroys them before the biology even has a chance to. Moving from physical shock to internal shock, we have number 2, the tiger barb. Most channels warn you about their fin nipping, but the real reason they fail beginners during transition is dietary momentum. In the pet store, they are trapped in a frantic survival mode, fiercely competing for whatever cheap, lightweight flakes hit the surface. You bring them home, and because you want to treat them well, you drop in heavy, nutrient-dense, sinking pellets. Because they are still running on that highly aggressive, competitive instinct, they gorge themselves on the rich food. Within hours, they suffer severe internal bloat, lose their swim bladder control, and end up floating upside down. The transition completely breaks their digestion before they ever settle down. This is where I have to ask, if your tank looked perfect on paper, would you even think to blame the transition? If you have ever lost an entire school of fish over the weekend, even though your water was clean, hit the like button and drop your story in the comments. We have all been there, and you are definitely not the only one. Which brings us to the number one worst transition fish, the Rummy nose Tetra. These are stunning fish, but they are the ultimate victims of osmotic crash. Rummy nose Tetras strictly demand mature, aged water with established stability. The retail store forces them to survive through brute force water changes and massive dilution. Dropping them into a tap water home tank that is only 2 months old is like pulling them out of a rainforest and dropping them into a desert. The dissolved solids and mineral pressures are just too completely different. Their signature red noses turn pale white instantly, their bodies go rigid, and they drop off one by one. You didn't poison them. You just gave them osmotic whiplash. The biological landing. Before we move on to the fish that actually survive, let's pause and look at the pattern here. Genetic exhaustion, sensory shock, dietary momentum, osmotic crash. Notice how absolutely none of those have anything to do with your ammonia or nitrate levels? That is the exact trap most beginners fall into. You aren't doing anything wrong to the water. You are just buying fish that cannot handle the biological landing. But you don't have to give up on having a beautiful school. You just need fish that don't rely on the pet store's safety net because they bring their own. Let's look at the best options. Number 4 is the White Cloud Mountain Minnow. During the first few weeks of setting up a new tank, you're going to make mistakes. You will probably experience slight temperature swings while you figure out your heater placement. A 2-degree drop overnight can completely paralyze a tropical tetra's metabolism. The white cloud is biologically armored against this. They shrug off cold drafts and temperature dips like they don't even exist. They are the ultimate low-gear survivors, absorbing your beginner mistakes without punishing you for them. While the open water sprinters panic, number 3 plays it incredibly smart. The cherry Barb. When you dump them into a new environment, they don't frantically pace the glass looking for an exit. They dive straight into the lower half of your tank. They hide among the plant leaves and immediately start grazing on microscopic biofilm. This is brilliant biological behavior. They actively feed while they adapt, which keeps their immune system running perfectly while they quietly learn the layout of your new ecosystem. If you love fish that actually work with your tank instead of against it, let me know your favorite beginner fish down below. We read every single comment. And if you want a fish that completely masters the middle of the water column, you want number 2, the Harlequin Rasbora. Moving from the chaotic, highly stressful environment of a retail display into your quiet living room tank usually causes severe shock. But Harlequin Rasboras actually do the exact opposite. They downshift, they relax, their colors deepen from a pale orange to a rich, metallic copper within days because they instantly recognize they are finally out of the industrial machine. They reward your stable tank with absolute peace. But the absolute best schooling fish to survive the pet store transition is number 1, the zebra Danio. This fish is the unbreakable engine. They do not need a massive centralized filter to hold their hand. If your young bacterial colony takes an extra week to catch up to the new bioload, they wait it out. If the filter current is a little too strong, they swim right through it. Stability beats speed, and the zebra Danio gives you the one thing you need most when setting up a new tank: time. Time to learn the system without staring at a casualty list. Why fish really die? It was not your fault. Listen to me. If half your school dropped off one by one in the first week, it wasn't your fault. You didn't do anything crazy. The invisible safety nets simply disappeared, and the fish didn't know how to catch itself. Choosing the right fish means finding the ones that actually survive the landing. And if you want to know which bottom dwellers will quietly clean your tank instead of destroying your filter, check out our PetSmart Cleaner Fish guide right here on the screen. If this kind of biological breakdown helps you save money and save your fish, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Until next time, keep your system stable, your transitions slow, and your curiosity flowing.